And now you're being a copycat. Is that your name, Copycat?
It's said that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. But are these fast food doppelgangers taking that idea a bit too far? Here are 15 fast food copycat restaurants that you never knew existed.
Everything's a copy of a copy of a copy.
Duffin Dagels.
Sounds just a little similar, right?
If America runs on Dunkin', does the rest of the world run on Duffin? Copying the color scheme and alliteration of Dunkin' Donuts, Duffin Dagels is the Spanish chain that pulls inspiration, a little too closely perhaps, from the famous donut mega titan. Most of their menu is almost identical to what Dunkin' Donuts serves in their stores.
It's the same. It's similar.
And yet they manage a few twists to keep fans of the franchise on their feet. Ready to try a milkshake with donuts on top? Well, Duffin Dagels could be your one-stop shop for coffee, donuts, and sweet treats alike. With its orange and pink lettering and its fare of fried dough, it's crystal clear who Duffin Dagels are paying homage to. Michael Alone.
Leave Michael alone, he's irrelevant now.
Our next fast food chain sounds like it could be the title of an indie horror game or a late-night monster flick, but in reality, it's a humble reflection of what we know as McDonald's here in the States. The Golden Arches have been turned on its head because although the name of the store is Michael Alone, they choose to have the famous arches represent a W in this case. Who knows what they were going for with that design choice? Found in China and the surrounding area, this chain has been fooling locals looking for the famous Clown's restaurant for years.
Fooled ya!
The name Michael Alone comes from one of the Chinese characters in its name. When translated with scrutiny, the characters form the sentence, Michael, the head of the household, which bears some loose resemblance to the movie Home Alone. We won't claim to know why they chose this name for a chain that's knocking off McDonald's, but we could fill a book with what we don't know. So the next time you're waiting for a layover in Shanghai, swing by Michael Alone to see what all the fuss is about. Who knows? They might be doing it better than the Golden Arches. 712.
The 7-Eleven, right?
Although it's not really a fast food restaurant, we thought this uncanny copycat deserved its own spot on the list. 712 is a convenience store chain, once again found in China. It closely resembles 7-Eleven with its color scheme and gas station fare, but don't be fooled by the facade that this store puts on. Apart from the convenience aspect, there are very few similarities between this Asian knockoff and the 7-Eleven that we all know so well.
It's different. A little.
There's no 7-Eleven brand food, snacks, or amenities, but there is an item called egg sausage, whatever that is. If you're in the mood for a sandwich on the go and can't find any of 7-Eleven's over 70,000 stores, duck into 712 for a pale imitation of this convenience store giant. Stars and Bucks Cafe.
Starbucks, Starbucks, Starbucks.
At the turn of the century, Starbucks burst onto the scene with its rigorous marketing campaign, overhauled stores, and one-of-a-kind coffee beverages. Today, that success has spurred on a handful of imitators looking to cash in on the coffee craze. One such imitator is the Palestinian coffee house, Stars and Bucks. At first glance, you might think you're walking into the Seattle-born brewing house.
I thought,
But in truth, only the logo and coloring is the same. They serve coffee, it's true, but that's where you can expect the similarities to end. It's not enough to be the king. Sometimes you have to offer the people what they know and love. And apart from the banner hanging over the store, there are very few things that Starbucks lovers will find to rave about this cheap imitation. McDonner's.
what?
McDonald's?
There's actually some clever wordplay going on with this next entry. McDonner's is the Kazakhstan cousin of the popular McDonald's franchise, which serves anything from pizza to kebabs, chicken, and you guessed it, burgers.
I like burgers.
The famous M found outside McDonald's everywhere may seem the same from a distance, but once you're standing outside the store, you'll see that this is where the similarities end. KKFC.
Like KKK? Yeah, it's probably a bad idea.
Kentucky Fried Chicken? Well, we could see how you'd make this mistake. But this chain is actually a Nepal-based spoof on Colonel Sanders' famous chicken joint. What does the name stand for, you might ask? Well, in this case, the acronym actually stands for Crispy Crunchy Fried Chicken.
Very smart.
We know what you're thinking. The marketing departments of some of these fast food ripoffs could probably probably stand to gain a little introspection. But that isn't stopping KKFC from serving up poultry the way they imagine we do here in the States. You know, you really have to admire a corporation that's so unapologetically piggybacking off of other success. McTortas.
I'm Krispy Kreme McDonald's.
It seems that McDonald's worldwide success has created a myriad of competitors who all want in on the name's global brand recognition. This is no different with our next entry, McTortas. It's a Mexican establishment that tried its best to come up with a similar aesthetic to the Golden Arches, but seemingly fell flat. The mascot looks like Ronald McDonald's deadbeat uncle with his patched pants and plain red and white striped shirt, an almost comical attempt at creating stunning iconography. There are only a few people who have actually seen the inside of a McTortas, and as a result, the items that they serve on their menu are somewhat of a mystery.
But isn't that what being an international man of mystery is all about?
Seeing as how a torta is a sandwich-like dish that many people in Mexico enjoy eating, it's safe to assume that their fare is mostly sandwich-based. We'll wait for confirmation, but it appears as though this spoof restaurant is just another in a long line of imitators waiting to take a shot at the king of fast food. Next time you're on vacation down in Mexico, see if you can find one of the fabled stores. We'll wait to see if they live up to the expectations of the company with which they've derived inspiration. Five Lads.
Five lads, all built like Buddha.
If you've ever been to a Five Guys Burgers and Fries location, you know that they're serious about fast food. So much so that it would appear as though their passion has spread to others looking to offer a similar experience to the famous burger shop. Five Lads can be found on the East End of London, where they opened in 2015. Since then, they've opened 2 new locations and appear to be gaining the attention of fast food eaters in the UK.
Okay, you got my attention.
While you might expect the main menu item from this chain to be burgers, they've flipped the game on its head and have instead chosen to provide customers with chicken, which appears to be their primary breadwinner. You won't find any free peanuts here, however, as most of the similarities between this chain and its cousin across the Atlantic stop there. There's no red color scheme here, and although the name is similar, the chaps at Five Lads seem to be making their own name for themselves. As far as imitations go, you could do much worse than Five Lads. Sunny Day.
You need a sunny day. And rain.
It would appear that even fresh fast food has competition overseas. Subway has certainly revolutionized the way that we here in the States look at fast food, and as a result, they seem to have created competition in the market. Sunny Day is the Yemen-based Subway competitor that is popping up in malls and fast food courts in the Middle East. They've chosen to stick with the iconic yellow and green lettering that so many of us know, but few people can actually claim to have eaten at one. Maybe they've chosen to go a different direction and offer mostly fried food?
Who knows, really?
Wouldn't that be sort of comic justice for making us eat green bell peppers on our sandwiches for all those years? While Sunny Day is carving out a name for itself in Yemen, there are other imitators of the fast and fresh dining establishment that have cropped up in recent years. These include stores like Freshway in Iran and Simply Sandwich in China. When your business model inspires this much competition, you can clearly assume that you're doing something right. While Sunny Day may have a brighter and more cheerful name, we'll stick to Subway to get our fresh fast food. Dominic's Pizza.
Dominic's the bad guy. Dominic's the bad guy.
While this next restaurant in name sounds like it might be a dollar slice shop that you find in New York City, it's actually a UK-based chain that's spoofing a familiar pizza franchise here in the States. Dominic's chooses to use the same red, white, and blue lettering that so many have come to recognize from Domino's.
Like the old Domino's pizza crust.
This is where the similarities end, however. The menu is completely different from what you'd find in the American pizzeria. Dominic's chooses to serve anything from pizza, kebabs, chicken, burgers, and much more. Worry not, this fledgling restaurant still manages to deliver if you're craving a kebab from the comfort of your home. Sunbucks Coffee.
I could really go for a Starbucks, you know?
If Starbucks uses a celestial body in its name, then so too does this next entry on our list. Sunbucks is predominantly found in China and neighboring countries and is serving up coffee under a banner that might look similar. The all too familiar green and white circular logo is present.
That's not really our logo, is it?
Although this one depicts some sort of dragon complete with a bull ring through its nose. We'd say it's safe to assume that you'll find coffee in these locations, but you might be rolling the dice on the quality. Knockoffs aren't often known for their attention to detail, and we have no reason to believe that this imitation is any different. Cheeseburger.
It's so simple, it's genius.
We admire a chain that doesn't beat around the bush and instead gives you a face value glimpse into what you'll be eating. Cheeseburger is a burger shop that has borrowed quite a few elements from Burger King, including the 90s era logo hanging over its storefront. What they lack in innovation, they make up with honesty, as you can clearly tell that the place serves burgers.
They make burgers. We eat burgers.
Cheeseburger is primarily found in China, where many of the best knockoffs originate. But we can't confirm if people are having it their way or not. Say what you want, but at least this chain knows what it's trying to be. And there's something oddly comforting about a fast food restaurant which doesn't reach for the extremes. Dairy Fairy.
Maybe it's a Dairy Fairy.
Even though Dairy Queen hasn't always been the frontrunner in the American fast food industry, that hasn't stopped other countries from imitating the restaurant. Dairy Fairy is once again found in China and recently opened a store in South Africa. They're offering soft-serve ice cream at competitive prices according to their webpage.
Their prices are better than yours.
But with a tagline like, "The Taste of California," we're wondering if this chain might have missed the mark when it comes to brand research. The logo has been reworked to a shadow of its former glory, but we're pretty clear on who they took their inspiration from. Who knew that instead of bringing us together, ice cream could actually drive us apart? OFC, Obama Fried Chicken.
It's insult. Why is it an insult?
Opened by 3 college students in Beijing, Obama Fried Chicken is a masterclass in brand recognition and imitation. The famous colors from Kentucky Fried Chicken are present, but instead of the giant bespectacled colonel that we're used to seeing, you'll instead be greeted by former President Barack Obama when you walk through the doors of this store. Litigation was presented to the company from the lawyers of KFC, and as a result, the logo was changed to UFO.
I have to get off this planet.
Although Barack's smiling face can still be seen on advertisements for the chain. We don't know if this was some sort of sick joke or a legitimate attempt at getting a fast food chain off the ground, but we're here for it. This isn't the only Kentucky Fried Chicken spoofer out there, but it certainly wins points for the most original. If you're tired of the same old colonel, why not hop on a plane to Beijing and try a more presidential approach to the world's most famous chicken? Pizza Hut.
It's not even a real Pizza Hut. It's a Pizza Hut Express.
It's time to pay respect to the most blatant ripoff that we've seen yet. Pizza Hut is located in the capital of Iran. If you were walking down the street and only took a glance, you probably wouldn't notice any difference between this chain and the famous Pizza Hut chain that originated in Wichita, Kansas. The font is the same, the lettering is the same, and the famous red roof has been given up in lieu of something else, a hat. That's right, people, you change one word in the famous fast food chain's name, and you've just written yourself a blank check to fast food stardom.
Simple as that.
While the Instagram for Pizza Hut has gone dark, there are rumors that the chain has recently popped up in China, where all good brand ripoffs go to live. While we admire the sheer gall it takes to imitate something this closely, we wonder if these places had forged identities of their own, would they be taking the world by storm right alongside the Clown King and Colonel? I guess we'll never know. But one thing is for sure, the imitators aren't stopping anytime soon, and we'll be here covering all the shenanigans for years to come.